Hello everyone, this is Riccardo Masini and this is Vlog, and this is my WLOGboxing, aka my unboxing of the Warfighter MTO set, that is the Mediterranean Theater Operations. And these are all the boxes and expansions, the core boxes and the expansions of this set. We have two core boxes. They are independent, they are autonomous, you can have one and not the other. You don't need anything of the European theater operation, that is, or the Pacific theater operations, that is the previously published material of Warfighter. Two independent boxes and 20 different expansion decks. So MTO, Mediterranean Theater Operations. This means, yes, it's us, it's Italians. The Italians are coming, and we are here. These are two core boxes about the two main campaigns of the MTO, the Mediterranean Theater Operations, North Africa, and the campaign of Italy. But there is so much more inside this general set. I'm making this video with this material that was sent to me from DWG, not because, and I want to be honest with you, not because as review copies, but because I worked on this project. I was an historical and linguistic consultant for this project, and I'm very happy for having been given the opportunity of working on this project with the great team coordinated by Benjamin Chi of DWG, and we had Paolo Busi and so many other Spanish friends, because yes, I really love this project. We put so much effort and passion on this because I am a big Warfighter fan. And since Warfighter existed, especially the World War II Warfighter version, the World War II variant, I always thought, oh, it would be nice if Italians were included in Warfighter, but not in the classical stereotypical way, you know, the Italians, they surrender, they run away. Not the revisionist vision of the Italians. Oh no, we fight for valorous. Only fortune was lacking. No. This is an honest view of the Italian troops and the Italian contribution to the World War II conflict, with all its controversies, right? Also, it's different. It's many problems: logistics, coordination, command, training, equipment. It's all in there. But there is also the personal courage, the valor, the brotherhood between the fighters, and also the respect. And also the respect for our past foes, for the British, for the Commonwealth troops. It is an honest treatment. And yes, there are controversial issues in this set. There is also partisan warfare. There still is a bit of a controversial memory, but it cannot be different. It's also the same for Germany and all the others countries that were involved in World War II. But I think that the treatment here is correct, because there is so much respect for all those who fought on all fronts with all their different ideas, and the simple fact that they were at the front line, they were fighting for survival, for their survival, the survival of their comrades or their friends, whatever was the path. And I love how DWG treated these men, these stories, not only men, but also women. Yeah, there is partisan warfare. There are many women characters, many female characters, and fighters too. And it is great. It's great. There are many episodes. One piece of advice: please follow Paolo Busi and read his reports on the partisan warfare expansions he worked on. Oh, fantastic, great stories. Also, there is great support for the Italian players because an Italian language book has been included in the Board and Geek section files section, North Africa, and also you have starting teams, starting squads, very a lot of support, very much of support material. I consider to say that this set of Warfighter is almost a new beginning for Warfighter. It is a great way to get introduced to the Warfighter world. Why? Because if you start now with Warfighter, World War II is actually the easiest way to be introduced to Warfighter, because there are not so many options, not so many variant rules, and not so many weird equipment, weird items that that add some rules in there. There is so much stuff, there is almost too much stuff. The material in the MTO, in the Mediterranean Theatre of Operation, is independent, is autonomous, and especially if you think about the material about North Africa, it is totally a world apart. So you don't have too many cards, your options are more clear, more evident, you don't have so much to choose from. You have a lot to choose from because there are over 2,000 cards in this set, but you are not completely overwhelmed. These for the North Africa material, okay, North Africa soldiers, equipment, and so on. The other part, the Italian campaign, well, yes, it intersects more with the European theater operations, especially regarding the battles of 1944, 1945, the actions of those years. And yes, maybe it's better if you intersect it with the material you already have for the European theater operations. But it is your choice. If you want to stay on North Africa, 1940, 1941, and 1942, you have a clearer set of cards to choose from, so it is actually easier. Anyway, you may have guessed it, but I am really happy and excited about this expansion, also for very personal reasons. Yes, as every single Italian you will meet, everyone has had his grandfather or great-great-father or his father, someone who fought in World War II in a way or the other. He had conscription, with mass conscription, so it was impossible to avoid it. Personally, I have a very intersected story, because on my mother's with World War II, with a very important story with World War II personal relationship, because on my mother's family, my grandfather fought in Tunisia under General and then Marshal Messe on the Maraf line, and was taken prisoner, was sent to the United States, and so on. He was a sergeant in an artillery battery, and he was glad because he came home saying, with weapons such as those that they gave us, I'm sure I didn't hurt anyone. It's very Italian, this thing. So it was, my conscience is clear, I never hurted anyone with those weapons. And the other part of my mother's family comes from a place called Casino. Yes, that Casino. So lots of war stories. My father's family comes from Forlì, which was on the Gothic line. My grandfather was a bank clerk, and he was a financial He had all the financial logs and registers for many of the partisans' formations. And he was caught by the Germans, but he escaped. Bad stuff, so he survived because he managed to destroy all the proofs of his relations with the partisans. How? He simply ate all those paper receipts, because burning them would have left traces, so he just ate them. Okay, these are war stories, and every single Italian family has one of those stories, on one part or the other. Okay, because yes, there has been partisan warfare, but there are also people who fought with the social republic, and these kings treat everyone with the due respect. Then the judgment is upon you, and I won't go there. But after that, let's go to the gaming aspect. Okay, what you will find here, starting with the 2 core boxes, you will find everything that you find in the Warfighter core boxes. This one, North Africa, you have British player cards and German hostiles, and you get a team. I won't show that to you, but you just have to go to BG. You have a teamed North African map, the rule book, the keyword sheet, all there updated, all the users fantastic, great DVG counters, all the cards and the dice, and as I said, British, UK and Commonwealth characters, and situations with German hostiles. On these other core box, Mediterranean, you have, and here we go, you have Italian player cards. This box you play with the Italians, and you have the UK hostiles. Okay, you have another playmat, Italian themed playmat, that you can also use, for example, for your campaigns in Russia. Rulebook and the reference cards and the counter sheets, as always, and the cards with Italian characters. And this was part of our work. Many of those cards have Italian terms, then translated Sentinella, Sentinel. And I thank DVG for this attention. And after that, you have all the expansions that you're going to see now. Okay, let's get to the expansion decks. There are over 20 of them, right? So much stuff. I told you 2,000 cards. And okay, in my own style, and my Italian viewers know that, a peculiar approach, I will not go into every single card. I'm okay, where is this deck? And then I say, let you see 56 cards, and then this other deck, boring, terribly boring. In my own peculiar style, my own approach, I think it is more useful if also for people that do not know the Warfighter system, if I go over the different types of expansion decks, so that you can get a view of how to use every single deck, and then you can look at it for yourself, which cards are in each deck. So let's see the different types of expansion decks. The first expansion, of course you can buy everyone independently, okay? The first type of expansion decks is this. I'm keeping one for last. Okay. The first type is national decks and special troops, special formation decks. This means that these decks have cards that can be freely mixed up with the core boxes cards. They are designed to be just taken from there and added to these boxes. They are probably the more conventional type of expansion. You just added those cards, so you get a richer environment. Not all of them, but most of them. And so you got special formation, just like the Italian airborne Folgore, our paracaduti, our paratroopers, elite troops. And you just read every single British account of El Alamein and you will understand who those guys are and how they fight, but also Gurkhas. And we know, Italians know how Gurkhas fight. Incredibly elite troops. Very beyond valor, really beyond valor troops. Their motto, better to die than be a coward. But also more generic. So these guys, the desert scorpions, we call them gli scorpioni del deserto, long range desert group commandos with all the different missions, and they are very, very ideal for the Warfighter system, because you know, single missions, single characters, and they're fantastic for a warfighter mission. And the North African theater really is very suited for the warfighter system, because not so many people involved, small actions, small isolated actions, small missions. Fantastic. And it's absolutely a warfighter system. Then you have more generic, I would say, more widespread formations, such as Royal Italian Army, the Regio Esercito, our regular army, the Africa Corps, yes, that's Ropaland in France, and the Desert Rats, that is Auchinleck even before Montgomery, and these friends, and the Waivers and so on. I want to thank you, I want to thank the friends at DWG for one thing in particular, because they wanted to had characters with very peculiar names. You see Busi for Paolo Busi and also the other members of the team, and here I am. Okay, thank you guys, really thank you. I really loved that my character is a Coastman. This ties me a bit to my grandfather's story. That is, I'm in this game, and someone fights alongside his comrades, but also someone who says lies. A medic. Here I go. Okay, I really love this small detail from this. It was random, but it happened, and I'm so happy for it. But I'm so happy that there are Italian names, and there are, also this terminology. As I am happy for the work packed by Benjamin Chi, by the DWG team, and in particular, I repeat it, I wanted to include it written in a special description, but we really want to thank Gianluca Spinosa that who translated the rule book in Italian. Grazie Gianluca, thank you, really. And this deck is for last, Italian Partisans. As I said, follow Paolo Busi and look at the story behind each and every card, each and every character that you find in this deck. Amazing, absolutely. great narrative value, which is a trademark of the Warfighter system. Really great stuff. Okay, these are the formations, the general formations you just add, or there are some peculiar formations. Oh, I think it was, no, it's not, okay, it's not here because I mixed it up with the battle, but there is also a special set that, let's see, oh, okay, here it is. This one is a bit of a middle between the battle and the formation set, the Savoia Cavalleria. And why did I mix them up? Because yes, they are a formation, they are characters, but they are mostly I consider them a mix between a formation set and a battle set. Why? Because they should be really used only with the European theater operation, and especially on the Russian front. It is not necessary, but it is better to add them with the European theater operations and on the Russian front. That is, not with the Mediterranean forces. If you want, you can, but the Savoia Cavalleria really is about Izbusensky, the Battle of Izbusensky, the last cavalry charge of World War II. I'm still very proud about it. My grandfather had a picture, a framed picture, a painting in his house about the charge, Battle of Izbusensky. This is a bit of a cross between those two. It's a formation, but it is also a battle. Okay, and as I said, should be used not with the Mediterranean set, more with the European theater operations, especially against Russian forces. The second type, however, is this one. These are the battles, the single battles. That is, those decks are designed to be used more independently. Okay, you can mix all those cards, all those situations, all those missions, and also all those characters, especially the characters with those in the core box. But I would not do that. Why? Because those missions, those situations are very specific about this battle. And there are battles, Battle of Damascus, the Syrian campaign against French troops, Vichy and French Vichy troops, battles of North Africa, Bardia, just after Operation Compass, Bir Haim. There are battles, 2 packs about Battle of Crete. You can live as a German paratrooper or a Fallschirmjäger or a British soldier defending Crete. You have Raid on Saint-Nazaire. Yes, I have the classic game about Saint-Nazaire. And this really has nothing to do with the Mediterranean theater operations. Those cards should be used only with the European theater operations cards. But you have also battles of the second phase. That is not in North Africa, but of the Italian campaign. As I said, they should be more mixed, used with the independently or with the cards of the European theater operations. That is Battle of Rimini and Operation Tombola. Tombola is the Italian for bingo. Those are 2 late war operations, and very, very interesting. And in a single, just let you see the right on Bardia. Okay, let's just take Bardia that I already opened, and I plan on store them. Those formation decks will be mixed, freely mixed with the core boxes cards. Those battle expansions will be, I will keep them in those boxes. I can mix them, especially the characters, see those New Zealanders, but in general I will keep them inside these boxes. Why? Because there are characters from those divisions that fought, in this case, at Bardia, sorry, but especially missions, objectives, and situations and locations specific to Bardia. Also all hostiles. I don't want to mix them with the more generic troops. I treat them like scenario decks. Okay. And it is another option, or if you want you can mix everything up. It's up to you. This is a great sandbox game. The fourth type of decks, very simply, the vehicle decks. Italian vehicles, Desert Rats vehicles, that is British Commonwealth vehicles, and German Africa Corps vehicles. They're very important because those are vehicles up to 42 bit early 43, and so it is strange there should not be panthers in North Africa. Yeah, a couple of tigers maybe, but panthers, they should not be there because they did not fight in North Africa. And so these decks allow you to have thematic and historical accurate vehicles for those early war campaigns. One thing, do not underestimate Italian vehicles. Yes, there were Tincans. We are the first one to call them such. My grandfather told me stories about how the British EV machine guns managed to stop those tanks with the rivets going everywhere inside the cockpit, inside the carriage, those kind of tanks, killing all the crew. Okay, but as every undaunted North Africa player will tell you, in a mission when you have 4 or 5 British soldiers, even an M1340 Italian tank, this small Breda machine gun can be a fearful opponent because it can take you down and your entire squad. So you approach them with caution. Do not underestimate them. And there are also very good, especially self-propelled guns vehicles here. Okay, those are the vehicles so that you can expand your Warfighter plays with vehicles, with vehicle rules, player vehicles and hostile vehicles. And the last type is fortifications, Gothic line, and also with the German mountain troops, and lots of scenarios and locations and installations with fortification on the powerful Gothic line that defended the northern position, especially in late war in Italy, or the Italian campaign. So this is also all the material. And one last thing I had to say, DWG had material limits, material constraints. There's also time limits or energy limits, and so we did not put everything, every single idea we had during the design process. And believe me, there were a lot of ideas. There was still so much to dig in this campaign. We have battles that we did not manage to cover, such as Nikolaevka, the Italian Alpini. We need an Italian Alpini deck. The Alpine troops. Tobruk, the fights in Rome on September 8th and 9th, 1943, just after the armistice, with the entire formations, entire bodies of our army, of the Italian army, would fought against the Germans to defend Italian capital. We have Salerno, we have Anzio, we have Cassino, we have Ortona, we have so many other scenarios to cover, and I really hope to have the opportunity of working with DG on future expansion decks, because there is so much more, still so much to dig, to cover in these fascinating campaigns. Anyway, more than 2,000 cards in the sets altogether, and we are quite proud by the fact that only 0.7% of them had any form of errata, which includes the spelling errata, so not so many. There will be an errata document, surely there will be new cards, don't worry about that. But really, this is a testimony of the effort we put in this project. I really thank DVG for the opportunity, and I really recommend this set to have a new vision, also a new beginning in Warfighter, both for experienced Warfighter players and also for new Warfighter players. These are creators very interesting, very suited to the Warfighter style of play, of the missions, and every single, believe me, every single mission, every single play at Warfighter will be different, and every single one will be just like an episode of your personal TV series. Crazy things will happen with lots of historical detail, lots of historical narration, a really great system. I really love how Warfighter, even if being totally different, just another thing from a conventional wargame, manages to be a good simulation, manages to give you historical details, historical narration, and in a very condensed format, but in a very playable format, and in a sandbox format. It's always different. You can always add stuff, or always add new things. And this entire set is a whole new thing, and is a whole new beginning. Totally independent. You can delve deep into the Mediterranean theater operations, even if you don't have a single card of the European theater operation or anything else that has been published for Warfighter. This is self-contained but totally compatible. It can be totally mixed up with everything else you have with Warfighter on World War II. So, thank you for having me here. As always, subscribe, like the video, blah blah blah, the user stuff. But thank you for having me here. And as you may say, this has been a very important video for me. I'm very happy that also the Italian side of the war is being narrated in this great system. Believe me, it is an amazing story. Thank you for everything. Thank you for having me here. See you next time. Have a good time, have fun, and as always, don't be scared. It's just war games. Ciao.